missing some good gems for a cold open. I would have loved to start the podcast with what you just said. Yes, maybe presidential elections should be determined by laser tag, Jason.
Who can get the most kills? Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, or Mike Pence? A one-on-one death match to the end. Laser tag extravaganza.
I think it would go in this order. I think Kamala would kill them all because she just seems like a stone cold killer, and I'm not saying that in a complimentary way. Trump would definitely be
He has a hard time walking.
Yeah, and he's just the most like non-physical person. But I think him and it's like the way I feel about them as people in general, like or as candidates, like they're equally shitty.
I think Pence has like very cold eyes. Every time I've seen him in pictures or on video, he has serial killer eyes.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Because in those debates, you landed haymakers on Joe Biden. I mean, his teeth were like chiclets all over the stage, and now I believe you that you're fully supportive of him. How does that transition happen? How do you go from being such a passionate opponent on such
I can't get over
bedrock
the look on her
principles for
face.
And now you guys seem to be pals.
Condescending.
It was a debate.
Hey, she's just excited
Not
to be talking to one
everybody
of
landed
her
punches
heroes.
like you did, though.
It was a debate.
So you don't mean it.
It was a debate.
What was a debate?
The whole reason, literally, it was a debate.
The debate was the debate.
Call it a debate.
The debate was the debate?
Travel to the debate. There were journalists there covering the debate, where there would be a debate.
There's something really disturbing about her laughter, which is going to come up again later. But she looks unhinged there.
In the debate, did she have problems with Joe Biden?
Yeah, she called him out for being a segregationist, basically, and
that's surprising. Didn't she lock people up too?
Oh yeah, big time.
You'd think they would have just hit it off like this.
But like in this thing with Colbert, he's bringing up like the obvious point of you called this man like one of the worst things you can call a person, which is like a segregationist, a racist, in so many words she did. And now you're going to be his running mate. That seems kind of strange, isn't it? It's not strange at all. It was a debate. It was a debate. It was a debate. She just seems like she's got she thinks if she just says a word over and over again, she doesn't have to like face
It wasn't an argument,
reality.
Josh. It was a debate. A friendly debate. It was a debate. It was a debate. It was a debate.
What was it?
It was a debate, not an argument.
I still don't understand what she said it was, but let's go.
news is a bit old now, but we know who our vice president's going to be if Biden wins.
It's true. It's big news.
And
we're a little late to the party, but whatever.
I wasn't 100% shocked. Were you shocked?
Not at all. I've been thinking for a while that she was the only logical choice for them.
I mean, why wouldn't they choose her? She checks all the boxes.
Well, and like people, I think even like years ago, people were calling her when she was like trying to make a name for herself, like the female Obama, which seems very shallow and possibly racist. But
her ascension's a bit different than Obama's, though.
Very, but like they have a similar like. Well, she's not charismatic like he is though either.
I was gonna say, I feel like
she's actually not like him at all. Just like only in the sense that they're like both centrists. They're both like neolib centrists, but like as a politician, she's totally uncharismatic. She has her like insane laughter fits while she's like saying like talking about the most like cold-hearted shit. She's just like laughing like a lunatic.
Obama at least had that like brief moment of doing like on the street action in Chicago where he was really, I think, trying to help people. He was kind of like a Cory Booker for a moment there where he's like, okay, this guy's a rising star. He's actually trying to help stuff. But then the more entrenched he became in politics, the more it was like, you know, maybe it's best to help Coca-Cola. Or, you know, this pharmaceutical company, they probably do need a bill more than us. Or why don't we throw a drone at the Middle East?
Yeah, there are just careers from the beginning. I don't think Obama ever had any purity of politics or anything like that, whatever you want to call it. Like it was all just
I'm not sure.
It was all just like resume padding for his plan, you know, and it worked well.
Sadly, I was truly excited by him.
It's not set. I mean,
but I think he hoodwinked a lot of people.
He 100% did. Even me, and I didn't even vote. I mean, I just was like too lazy to vote for him, but like I also didn't care enough. But and I knew there was, you know, it was something was gonna be. Things were not going to go well. I mean, I think I've told you this before, but like I can remember the moment I realized that it was all bullshit was when he backtracked on his pledge. He pledged, I will not take any, like, however he phrased it, like big corporate money, more or less. And
did he take big corporate money?
Oh yeah.
Like
the moment, the day he got the nomination for the won the primary, he started collecting checks from like Goldman Sachs and so on.
I will say that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, me either. But like when I heard it, I was like, okay, that means he sucks, that this is over. Like he's not going to be anything that he promised, basically. But I still cried when he won because
I was happy. I went
like
to the
tears of something.
I went to the inauguration with France because finally we were free of the dumbest president to ever grace American
soil.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Political stage.
Political stage. But, you know, maybe W's not the dumbest president we've ever had.
I thought that was your joke, is that now we've got Trump, but like...
No, that was the joke.
Okay.
Trust me. That was the joke. And, I don't know which is dumber. They're probably both smarter than I give them credit for, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I also don't know if I believe that, but I don't know.
Who can do more lines of cocaine, Obama, Bush, or Trump?
Definitely Bush. Bush was the party boy.
That's true. Oh yeah, Trump hates alcohol and drugs, right?
Trump would be like, ew, disgusting. Get that shit away from me.
Trump only likes Miss American contest
and fast food.
Whatever the fuck else he does.
He loves fast food.
He does.
That's his real drug.
It is a drug. I've been addicted to fast food before too.
So you know Trump's pain, his plight.
It's so easy. Fast food.
Yeah.
Convenient.
I mean,
quick.
it's designed to like engage all the right pleasure centers of your brain, I guess.
You always know what you're going to get, no matter what part of the world you're in. McDonald's is the same everywhere I've been.
That's not totally true.
Not 100% true.
Even-
Japan McDonald's was very good.
Is it?
You can get some nice McFish burgers and
They have they have different stuff here as well. McFish burgers.
That's true. Korea does have their famous bulgogi burgers, but I don't like them. They're so sweet.
Yeah, it's just a weird sauce,
Yeah.
and then the
Interesting thing about Korean food, it's always way sweeter than I think it's going to be.
yeah, that's their thing.
I do love Korean food, but some things shouldn't be sweet.
Actual Korean food, but like Koreanized American or Western food tends to just be like, if it's savory, they add sweet stuff to it.
Are we on topic?
No, not at all. But okay, I thought maybe I was gonna check the time. It was gonna be like 45 minutes that we had talked about McDonald's.
We're not off time at all.
Okay, so welcome to Heat Death of the Universe,
That's Josh.
and that's Jason. And I suddenly got confused by that for some weird reason. Yeah, this is round 2, right? So unless you count the infamous shelved episode
Yeah, don't forget the secret
that we
episode.
haven't released yet.
It's
or
good
ever.
stuff.
So coming to you from Seoul, South Korea, hard time stamp, August 16th, 11:52 p.m. Korean Standard Time. So today we're going to talk about a little vice presidential candidate that you may have heard about in the news recently. We're a little late to it, but Kamala Harris. We've got a bit to say about her.
Are you excited for our presidential choices? What do we get to choose from? Trump and Biden? That's great, right? Pence and Harris?
Excited's the word.
This is the best outcome, right?
Yeah, like they're both so great. I just don't know who to choose.
It's a really hard choice. I know some people say that if you don't vote, you're wasting your vote. But in a situation like this, how could you vote? How could you make a choice? Maybe it's best not to make a choice.
Yeah, I'm 1000% not voting. I knew that a long time ago. Like, I knew that as soon as Sanders was railroaded out of the whole thing.
I might do what I've been doing since 2002. Wait, that wasn't an election year. I'm just going to write in Ralph Nader again. And
did you write in Ralph Nader somewhere in 2002 just
I
on a
probably
piece of
did.
paper?
He has been the best candidate of my lifetime.
I do like
And
Nader.
I do love Bernie, but no one has ever touched Nader.
Did you see this thing going around? I don't know what it is exactly, and maybe it's nothing, but I saw these people reacting on Twitter to like, Ralph Nader is not responsible for 9/11, goddammit, which makes me think some people are out there saying that they basically. I think the logic would be, that's totally proven false idea that Nader was the reason that Bush got elected in 2000. And then because Bush got elected, he of course did 9/11 as an inside job, and therefore Ralph Nader is the one truly responsible for 9/11. I don't know. Maybe there was just some like joke thing going around, but like I saw people reacting to it in a kind of serious way of just like, this is absurd.
Negative, but I've gotten older and people believe the dumbest shit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so the Tea Party, I used to think that was ridiculous, and now they've all moved into QAnon. And they're serious about that. I feel like it's actually going to move elections soon.
It's gonna what election?
Like people are really invested in QAnon, and I think like it might become part of reality, even if it's not real.
It's gonna be willed into reality.
Sort of.
I don't know a whole lot about it. It seems like a lot of it is just it seems almost like trolling or something. But
Possibly.
Speaking of QAnon, Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. Did they predict her too? You're more versed in that.
I don't know if they predicted anything really, but I gotta drag us kicking and screaming away from QAnon because I don't know very much about it, like the details.
I'm in the same boat.
And B, this Kamala Harris situation. It's got, let's just call them, there's all these terms I use interchangeably, and maybe it's not correct to interchangeably use them, but like neoliberal or centrist or resistance libs or shit libs, all of those terms to me mean the same kind of crowd of people, and they're definitely very excited. A lot of dumb celebrity tweets shooting off earlier this week about her, a lot of yas queening type shit.
An interesting thing I've noticed about neolibs is a lot of them own houses.
Expand on that. Why is that interesting?
It's interesting that these people own property. I've just never owned property, and I just like.
She's saying like the common denominators, they're more well off than say your average socialist, average leftist.
I think that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, could be something.
I've
to
also
that.
noticed a lot of the QAnon people somehow own houses.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe like the people, but I mean that. I was gonna say like. But no, it doesn't pan out because there's tons of impoverished people that like believe in like the dumbest politics. So it's not only like the idle rich or like upper middle class or whatever that have the luxury of horseshit politics. But I kind of see what you're getting at though as well. Speaking of horseshit politics, but the opposite, Jacobin magazine has a pretty good article out now about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden choosing her as his running mate. Should we just jump into it?
I like those people at Jacobin.
Yeah, they do a lot of good work over there.
For years, I called them Jacobin because I'm not very smart.
You also said QAnon several times earlier.
Is it supposed to be Q anonymous?
I would say QAnon, like as in anonymous, but anyway, yeah, you get your own. You gotta have your little flair to.
QAnon.
Yeah, that's better.
Cool. QAnon.
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead here a bit. There's a good like preamble, but we don't need it. Okay, let's just get into it. This article is called "Joe Biden has found his neoliberal match in Kamala Harris." Harris's possible ascension to the White House solidifies that Biden's nomination already represented. Take that again. Harris's possible ascension to the White House solidifies what Biden's nomination already represented: the defeat, at least temporarily, of the left of the Democratic Party by the party's corporate faction. Party's corporate faction, that's like 99.9% of the party, but anyway. And the determination of its elites to barrel ahead with the shallow corporate politics of the Obama era, a politics mainly concerned with lowering the expectations of ordinary people. Well, I'm on board with all of this so far.
Me too.
Indeed, one of the reasons it was hard to imagine anyone else but Harris ending up on the ticket is that she so snugly embodies the modern Democratic Party, which also means almost everything you're about to hear about her has little to do with who she actually is. Ain't that the truth? So, like, so far, all people are talking about is she will be the first
Person of color. That's
person of color in like on a major ticket like this. So it's going to be a historic election, much like Obama's. She'll also be in the first woman in such a position, or I think she's like the third person, at least, to be nominated to like this close to the vice presidency. But yeah, people are talking about everything except anything of substance. It's just about her identity, which she has nothing to do with, and it's just talking about anything to avoid talking about all of the horrible shit that this woman is responsible for, which we're going to get into here in a second. I don't know. Have you been like seeing any of this, like the previously mentioned like ecstatic like tweeting or whatever from celebrities about this?
I have seen people very excited that the K-Hive is alive again.
Yeah, the K-Hive, right? The cult, the very, very cultish thing.
That Joe Biden couldn't have chose a better running mate.
Do they ever say anything about like her political history or her history as a prosecutor or any of her policies?
No, I don't think they know anything about their anything about her political history beyond the fact that she's a
clapback queen. She knows how to clap back, and she takes off like. She's also part Asian, I heard, which I didn't know. So she's got like even more racial diversity cred. So it's like that's what they mean by couldn't pick a more perfect candidate. She's just ticking off the like ID poll like boxes, right? Woman, black, Asian. What else? I think that's it. Maybe she'll come out as bi or something as well.
Isn't like everyone in America Native American too?
Yeah, ask Elizabeth Warren. She'll tell you all about it.
That's true. She will.
She
must be sad these days. I think that I think she really thought she was going to be the vice president.
I hate her so much, but I think I hate Kamala Harris a bit more. Kamala Harris has definitely has done more damage to the world, I think.
That's true. I feel like Elizabeth Warren at least had moments of trying to fight the good fight.
Yeah, maybe. I just think she's done less damage is all. That's the only thing I'll give to her like in this competition between her and Kamala Harris, but she's also she's also the reason that we're at where we are. She like it's possible that Bernie would have at least gotten a lot further along had it not been for her staying in the race purposely to fuck him up.
That's true.
I digress.
But that was in the before times.
It was right in the before times, right before the now times.
Now we're in the after times.
Yeah, it was right on that edge. That's when it happened. It all went down. Bernie was out. COVID was in. Voila, here we are.
I always hear in my podcast listening, because I listen to those.
Weirdo.
I know. Should find a better hobby.
I only listen to like 10,000 hours a week of podcasts. I'm not a freak.
That we're in the after times. They usually mention we're in the before times, which I think
I hear that a lot.
Which I think's silly, but I think it's truly an American thing. Which is this. I'm digressing here, but like things are changed in Korea, but they're not that different.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna keep pressing on here.
Let's talk about Kamala Harris, though.
All right. Far from the quote-unquote progressive prosecutor Harris has been masquerading as since angling for a 2020 run, her record bears no resemblance to figures who might actually fit that description, like Larry Krasner or Keith Ellison. Even in a party that embraced Biden and Clinton-style tough-on-crime policies, Harris stands out for her cruelty. She fought to keep innocent people in jail, blocked payouts to the wrongfully convicted, argued for keeping nonviolent offenders in jail as a source of cheap labor, slavery.
Slavery?
That's my aside. Withheld evidence that could have freed numerous prisoners, tried to dismiss a suit to end solitary confinement in California, and denied gender reassignment surgery to trans inmates. That's quite a list, and only the beginning.
That sounds wonderful. Like, she really cares about people.
Yeah.
Well, what I picked up there is she cares so much that she made sure that even if it cost the freedom of people who probably did nothing wrong, that freedom, it cost them that freedom, she made sure that the real people, the corporate people, because corporations are people, continued living happy lives. Happy lives with prisoners working for them for... How much do prisoners get paid? It's very little, right?
It's like pennies on the dollar as far as I know.
Yeah, you know. What corporations dream of paying everybody.
Pennies on the dollar, right. Well, I mean, the real dream is just zero, I think.
Hopefully they'll achieve their dreams. And by hopefully, I mean, we're barreling that way. Woohoo!
Fingers crossed. Continuing. A recent report detailed how Harris risked being held in contempt of court for resisting a court order to release nonviolent prisoners, which one law professor compared to Southern resistance to 1950s desegregation orders. Sounds incredibly woke. Harris loves to laugh. Watching Harris cackling like a cartoon villain about prosecuting parents of truant school kids is one of the more bone-chilling things you're likely to see in politics. I saw this video earlier today, and it is truly bone-chilling, and I would like to play, it's a short clip.
Wait, is it a debate? Was it just a debate?
That's a different video.
I'm just She was laughing a lot. That cackling laugh scared me in that video.
Oh,
too.
well, okay, this one is more unnerving, because listen to what she's talking about.
I was sent this video of Kamala Harris. Keep in mind, this is a real video. This is unedited. And
I
get
should
ready,
say,
man.
this is also being narrated by Richard Medhurst, who's a independent journalist and YouTube. I hate to call him a YouTube personality. That's not right. But
That's what I was
he
gonna
makes
say.
he makes YouTube videos of his commentary on what's going on in the world, and
He's definitely not a personality.
also
He's way more than that.
he's just introducing the video here. We're not gonna go to his commentary, which is very good, and I'll link to the video in the show notes. But here's the Harris clip.
Get ready, okay?
I would not be standing here were it not for the education I received. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. And I've got a little political capital, and I'm going to spend some of it. As a prosecutor and law enforcement, I have a huge stick. The school district has got a carrot. On my letterhead, now let me tell you something about my letterhead. When you're
Let me
the
tell you
DA
something
of a
about my
major city
letterhead.
in this
Sounds so
country,
threatening.
usually the job comes with a badge. And there is often an artistic rendering of said badge on your stationery. So I sent a letter out on my letterhead to
She's
every parent in the
smiling and
school district.
laughing.
We
No
sent
one
it
else
out
is smiling and
to
laughing
everyone.
in the crowd.
A friend of
And
mine
why would
actually
they?
called me and he said, Kamala, my wife got the letter. She freaked out. She brought all the kids into the living room, held up the letter, said, if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail.
Oh, they are laughing. They're just as horrible.
Yes, we achieved intended effect.
There's a freeze frame on her insane face that I'm going to use as the show art. by the by.
Excellent.
So yeah, that's just I mean, you kind of need to see it to get the full effect. But anyway, if you haven't seen it and you want to,
Just look at our show art.
If you need some well, yeah, you'll see it there, but also just see the video. And yeah, it's nightmare fuel. I'm
not sure if anyone should go to jail for their kids skipping school.
Of course not.
It seems a bit ridiculous to me.
It's fucking insane.
Like, I don't think people should go to jail for half the shit they do, but skipping school is like literally why?
And who do you think that law is going to disproportionately affect?
Oh, I have no clue. Who?
Well, let's start with probably poor people that can't afford like all kinds of like childcare and nannies and shit like that, and who have to go to work and can't really keep a super close eye on their kids. And in a lot of instances, who tends to be poor in this country? Well, just let your imagination run with it. Let's keep unless you got something else to say, I'm gonna just keep barreling through because there's a bit more to read.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, Harris loves to laugh. Other things Harris found funny? The idea of building schools rather than prisons. Ha! And the concept of legalizing pot. Ha ha ha! 5 years later, she laughed again, this time while running for president and fondly recalling her pot-smoking days as she mugged for a younger audience. Extra hilarious was the fact that her office had convicted nearly 2,000 people for marijuana offenses while she was San Francisco's district attorney.
How much kickback do you get for arresting someone with weed? I mean, I guess that's happening less and less as weed becomes more accepted in the States. I moved out of the States before weed was an accepted thing at all.
Right, and I mean, also, like, California, but, like, I mean, that makes it even crazier that they arrested that many people in San Francisco.
Well, yeah, I mean...
now it's completely legal there, but,
There's still more people in prison in the United States for, like, weed charges than anywhere else in the world, I'm pretty sure, and... We have, like, crazy prison population for, like, the most innocuous shit. It's just fucking weed. Who cares?
Yeah, you're not going to get any argument from me on
she
that,
cares.
obviously. Well, yeah. I mean, she obviously doesn't have it's not a moral thing. She's, like, laughing about, oh, of course I smoked weed. My family, my ancestry is part Jamaican or whatever she said on stage.
She already told us that she cares. And it's not because she smokes weed. It's because she cares about, as you called it, slaver.
Yeah, I mean, it's just about filling the prisons, and you talked about like kickbacks or whatever, but like it's also just like meeting the quotas, which mean getting more funding for police departments, and then that translates into maybe getting like pay raises and stuff for individual cops and so on. They incentivize the hell out of it, obviously.
The police do need their Hummers.
Okay. Harris's callousness towards the poor and powerless has been matched only by her sympathy for the rich and powerful. That's a hell of a statement. It's a good sentence. Most notoriously, Harris overruled her own office's recommendation to prosecute the predatory bank of current Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, who later donated to her Senate campaign. What a wild coincidence. Then allegedly tried to cover up her inaction.
I imagine those weren't connected.
Oh, no way. Not all three of those things. Disconnected events.
No way. Just happy coincidences.
I mean, her refusal to prosecute, the donation, and then the cover-up. 3 disconnected events.
Obviously.
Despite California's status as the epicenter of foreclosure scams, Harris's mortgage fraud strike force... Mortgage Fraud Strike Force, just wanted to say that again, prosecuted fewer cases of foreclosure consultant fraud than many county DAs. Rather than use her office to constrain the growth of tech monopolies, emails recently obtained by the Huffington Post show she courted them, receiving significant financial backing from Silicon Valley in return. Shocking again. It's recently been declared out of bounds to refer to her ambition. Oh, this is, we're going to get into this more later. But the fact is that Harris, like Biden, Obama, and sadly the majority of politicians, has been driven above all by concern for her own career prospects. Just look at these clips of 44-year-old Harris explaining in August 2008, as poverty, war, and a ballooning housing crisis gripped the country, and her state in particular, what would be different about the country after 8 years of her presidency that, quote, we would be willing to embrace the idea that we actually have an incredible talent pool, that the U.S. would have, quote, a population of people who were informed not only about the great history of our country, but also world history, and that, quote, we all would decide proudly that we are all, as Americans, patriots, of all whom would wear flags on their lapels. In other words, she had no idea.
I don't think I've ever had a lapel.
You're not sure?
Is that
A lapel pin or a lapel?
Just a lapel.
You never worn like a jacket, like a suit jacket?
Oh, well, obviously. I've never worn a suit jacket with a flag.
Yeah, same here.
Seems a bit ridiculous to wrap a flag around my suit jacket. Is that what she's campaigning for? Flags around suit jackets?
Yeah, sir.
What a monster.
I mean, people just don't. What is she campaigning for? Well, I mean,
Flags around suit jackets.
All right, that's the number one priority on the platform. So if Harris isn't actually a progressive with ambitious policy commitments, what exactly does she bring to the ticket? Wow, it's like the article read our mind just now.
Jacobin has that ability.
Jacobin.
Jacobin has that ability.
Democrat-aligned media is citing her mixed Indian and Jamaican heritage. Okay. Yeah, Indian, Asian, that is from the continent. Okay. Which they hope will excite voters of color for November, and her toughness and aggressiveness, which they envision being deployed against Trump and particularly Vice President Mike Pence in their eventual debate. Oh, God, this is all just bumming me out again.
I don't think there will be debates. I think there will be a vice president debate, but I don't know if Trump and Biden are going to debate.
I kind of feel the way about that question that I do about the question of who's going to win. Like, to me, it's like 50-50 either way. Like, I won't be surprised by anything at this point.
So many people have told me there was a guy who called, like, the past 40 elections or something. I don't know how he's still alive because that seems impossible. But I've heard this. And he said Biden's going to win no matter what. And, I'm not sure. After the last election, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, they used to treat, I mean, some people still do treat, like, Nate Silver that way, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And he's famously wrong about shit.
I don't know if I care who wins. Which, this might be one of the first times in my life where I've hit a point where, like, I know Trump sucks. I think Trump's fucking awful.
Yeah.
But,
it's like saying this guy is blue or whatever.
Yeah, the sky is blue, and somehow I've stopped caring. Because literally my options are corporations get kickbacks. Corporations get more kickbacks.
It's not even more.
Corporations continue to get the same kickbacks.
Literally no different. I mean, man. Yeah, I don't really, I mean, I care, but I don't, both options are equally shit to me. Like I said already, there's no thought in my mind that I'm not going to vote.
When Kamala Harris and Biden are elected, what do you think will happen with the child concentration camps at the border?
They'll be more politely hidden away.
Excellent.
And the people who are upset about them now are going to go right to sleep the moment they get their candidate in office. they're gonna go to sleep just as fast as fucking Biden's gonna go to sleep. That's the other thing about this news about Harris that is obvious but bears noting, I guess, is Joe Biden is obviously senile, and he's very old, and I think there's a very good chance if they do win that very conveniently all the people around who've been supporting him now are gonna suddenly come to the realization that, oh, poor Joe does seem to have cognitive decline. I guess we gotta take him out. I don't mean kill him. Well, they might. I mean, whatever. What I'm saying is I could see some series of circumstances where they're like, okay, we admit he's unfit after they win, of course, and then who becomes president? Obviously, Kamala Harris, and that seems almost scarier than having like a total doddering like.
Why was she the
fool.
choice, though? Why was she the choice? If this is all just a ploy to make her be the president.
It's demographics. It's all surface. It's exactly what we've been talking about, is that people are saying she's the perfect candidate, but they don't know anything about her policies. And if they know anything about the bad stuff she's done, they're just compartmentalizing and like keeping it out of their minds because, god damn it, we're going to have a WOC in the White House, man. And that's more important than anything.
There is something important I've learned in my life. Many Americans only care about the exterior.
Right.
That's what I learned.
It's all, I mean, all of it is just...
What are the optics?
It's very, very... It's all very symbolic. I mean, presidential elections in general are just like your symbol versus my symbol, and that rarely has anything to do with like policies and whatnot.
Blue versus red.
Yeah.
Who's the best football team?
But even like worse than that is just like the individual candidates, like persona or. But I mean, that's the thing is Kamala Harris is totally like anti-charismatic. Like she's not charismatic at all. She's not funny. She's not warm or kind. Like she's this cold, like. I don't know. She that her laughing fits like scare like give me the fucking creeps.
She has that nice cackle.
that lovely warm robotic cackle. Yeah.
Imagine every time she cackles, she thinks about the time she sent whoever to jail for however long for.
I got so
whatever
much
innocuous
cheap.
thing.
I got so much cheap labor out of those private prisons. She just literally pats herself on the back. Okay, we got to get back into this. Okay, so we left off with people's imaginations about her like taking Trump to task and embarrassing Pence in a debate. That's what people are like excited about. But both of these are hard to square with reality. Contrary to the strange world of liberal consultants in media, people of color don't mindlessly vote for just anyone who shares their skin color or national background. They don't?
No way.
This upends my whole worldview, said the average dipshit centrist. After she dropped out of the presidential race, pundit after pundit marveled at how she had failed to win the support of black voters, barely registering in her own home state by the end. She ultimately dropped out before a single primary was held. Yeah, she dropped out before even Iowa.
I remember.
Saving herself the embarrassment of a Biden 08 style showing in Iowa and beyond. That's right. Let's remember that Biden has tried and failed to win the presidency
before
3
Iowa,
times.
I still
twice
had
before.
hope. I was still hopeful during those times.
Oh, I know.
I had hope. Not in 08. I mean, before this Iowa. There was still some hope.
Yeah. It was exciting when Sanders was winning.
I was thinking things were happening.
Yeah, I look back on it now and I'm like, I wasn't really naive. I kind of knew like I knew it was all gonna crash, but like I still had I did have a little hope.
I was like, maybe it's gonna happen.
It's possible.
Maybe this time.
Yeah, it's possible. But then as soon as everything like went down, I was not surprised at all either.
But how do you feel about the Democratic Party literally choosing like the two? They did so badly. Biden and Harris, like up until the party decided to completely drop out of the race and all support Biden because of the secret meeting with President Obama or whatever, they were like,
well, it's because it doesn't like.
well, why do they choose losers?
Because they don't care if they win ultimately. What they care about is maintaining the status quo, which means keeping people like Bernie Sanders as far away as possible. And the only way they could do that without just like assassinating him was to do what they did and just all like, I mean, it was a conspiracy in the most like basic sense of that word. Like people conspired together to make this thing happen, and they did it. And yeah, Liz Warren was in on it. They were all fucking in on it.
I guess they don't lose every battle.
Not internally against like the left. Yeah, they crush the left pretty frequently. They're good at it. Even when there's like tons of good momentum going by like with Sanders, but fucking Kamala Harris, back to her, I guess. I'll get too fucking upset if we get deep into the Bernie saga again.
He's also made us both sad recently.
Oh yeah, oh god. Okay. As for the second point, Harris's feeble showing in the polls was matched by a dithering campaign that saw the former prosecutor underwhelm in debates and run away from her own positions. Oh, I remember all this. After co-sponsoring Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill in 2017, she joined Sanders as one of the only two candidates who said they favored abolishing private health insurance in a June 2019 debate, before swiftly walking it back the day after, couldn't even wait more than a day, claiming that she misunderstood the question.
How much money was she given? Maybe somewhere in Kamala Harris there's a soul?
No.
You don't think so?
No. She was purely just cynically like trying to get like cred from like, she was trying to like get some of that Sanders good juju or whatever. Like she wanted like the youth vote or whatever. She was just saying what she knew people would like to hear. Like, oh, I'm full for Medicare for all. And then a day later saying, oh, I didn't understand the debate question. Fucking nonsense.
Do you think the trick to the youth vote is just to act like you care about people?
I mean, look who's president right now, but like...
I don't think he had the youth vote. I do know young people who voted for him, though.
I mean... Oh, yeah, I misheard your question. The youth vote? Yeah, I mean, I guess... but there are a lot of dumb young people too. I don't really buy it. I mean, I don't know.
I don't necessarily know what the youth vote means, to be quite honest. But I do think a lot of politicians could get more votes if they just acted like they cared about people.
Yeah, but I think they also realize that they don't even have to go through the trouble of doing that, and they can still get elected.
Yeah, I agree.
Because not enough of the youth vote is one of the problems.
And the game is
and I, as I say that like I'm criticizing them, and I just said 3 times in this episode I'm 1000% not voting, but
here's the thing,
I contain multitudes.
You don't have to vote. No matter what people tell you, you do not have to vote.
Well, yeah,
and
nobody's got a gun to your head.
That's your choice. It might be cool to live in a country where you did have to vote.
Australia does that.
But things would be entirely different in that situation.
I've often thought that would be a great idea.
I think it would be a wonderful idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's everything that in American politics is designed to keep the voting numbers as low as possible. If 100% of eligible...
voters
actually turned out, like things would look very different. I mean,
I imagine a write-in candidate would win.
I mean, a third party would be way more viable in that situation. I think.
agree.
Like, the dream in the past would have been Sanders in this last go around running as a third party, which is what I really wish he had done.
He didn't run as a third party because of Ralph Nader.
I know.
Because Ralph Nader proved that.
Yeah, but okay, that's bullshit because Ralph Nader did not have a campaign anything like what Sanders' 2016 campaign was like.
Oh, I agree.
Like the movement was built. He had it there. It was ready for him.
Well, Nader paved the way for Bernie.
I get that. But Nader is also like, I mean, they're both not like very charismatic guys. But Nader's like anti-charismatic. Like he's very, and like we've already said, like people vote a lot on like really for superficial reasons. Like Nader's a weird-looking guy who like looks like he doesn't know how to have any sort of fun.
It looks like he's read too many books.
He's read too many books. He sticks to only the facts, ma'am, like that kind of stuff, which is what I like about him. But my point is that comparing him to Sanders, I think that's a cop-out reason for Bernie not to have tried to run as a third party this time around. I get why he didn't do it the first time around, because he had nothing. He had nothing. The first time around, he announced his that he was going to run for president on his lunch break in a park with like 20 journalists there, and that was it. And he was like, "I'm running for president. Goodbye." And that was like it. And then, like a month after that, or maybe it was a little longer, but like it felt like it really quickly. It was like stadiums sold out.
There's momentum, yeah. It was crazy.
It was amazing, and like he could have used that. But the thing is he was never gonna do that. He's never gonna really like. He's not willing. He's not willing to try to destroy the Democratic Party, which is what he should be willing to do. But I get it. He's old. I still love the guy. But he's fucking disappointing me left and right.
He could have used it. The thing is, even if he had used it, it would have lowered his... I think the route he took was actually the route that had the best chances for him winning.
But look at what happened. I totally disagree.
He's probably never going to win, but the way the system's set up, it's impossible for a third party to currently win.
But I think if anyone had a good chance at it, though, it would have been him.
That's probably true.
Because he had huge popular support. So, like, if he didn't have all the hurdles of being within the Democratic Party, imagine what he could have done.
I'm not
and
sure.
I mean, I think COVID would have fucked things up anyway, because he couldn't do like live events and stuff anymore. But I don't know, man. Like,
actually, he had by far the best policies for what we're.
Of course.
Yeah.
Medicare for all is like...
But we're talking about a dream that's dead, so let's go back to the current dream, which is Kamala Harris and Biden. Everyone's so excited that we have two heroes on the block that are going to save America and take us back to the Obama age. I can't wait to see the reboot of How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. Never mind. It was a bad joke I was going to make. Okay. I completely forgot where I left off here. Okay. As for the second point... No, I already read that. Edit point. Okay. So after she walked back her position about Medicare for all, claiming she misunderstood the question, she then came out with her own healthcare plan, which expanded private insurers' role in healthcare and added an absurd transition period of 10 years, or 2.5 presidential terms. Wow, what a plan.
Genius.
So she just like literally did the opposite of the thing she claimed she was in favor of, Medicare for all. Instead she expanded the private insurer's role in healthcare. Interesting. My God, what a horrible person.
I've never had private insurance.
I did with one job that I had in the U.S., but that was just for 1 year.
Was that when you were a private detective?
No, that job did not provide insurance. It was when I worked at a mental health facility. But let's keep going with this here. Yeah, I mean, I've got too many stories about that job. We'll get really, really sidetracked.
Really, not that we ever get sidetracked.
Okay, but this piece is good. I want to finish it. So, much the same happened with Harris's most memorable debate moment, attacking her current running mate over his leading role in the racist anti-busing movement. Harris's campaign somehow had T-shirts commemorating the moment ready to sell mere hours after the debate was over, but she soon helpfully clarified that she herself had in fact held the same position on busing as the one she had just attacked Biden over.
Wait. So she criticized Biden over the busing issue, but she was also 100% for the busing.
For the anti-busing position, she had the same position as him, but yet she used it as like a cheap moment to try to stand out during the debate and to sell fucking T-shirts that said "that little girl was me," and she thought it was gonna be like her moment.
I wonder how much money she made from the T-shirts.
Probably not much. I mean, I don't know. Those K-Hive people are insane. I bet they like bought like 10 shirts a person or something. Continuing on with her terrible debate turnout. After that, Harris was left speechless. I remember this too. After that, Harris was left speechless by Tulsi Gabbard's debate stage criticism of her prosecutorial record and her attempt to challenge Elizabeth Warren to call for Twitter to ban the president fell embarrassingly flat. Do you remember either of those moments?
I remember something about wanting to ban Trump from Twitter.
She, like, if I remember correctly, when I think I basically do, she said it in the middle of the debate with this like triumphant like tone to her voice. Like she thought she was gonna like bring down the house, man. She thought like the fucking place was gonna explode in like applause.
Cheers.
She was like, "I think we need to ban that man from Twitter." And it was just like crickets, basically. Oh, the other thing I read that I don't think is in this article is that during the debates, her team hired people, like 40 people, to like sit in the crowd and like go ape shit whenever she said something, like one of her planned out cynical lines, like the "that little girl was me" line.
Are you telling me they hired the K-Hive?
Not well, part of them at least.
Maybe she's not as bad as we thought. She's creating jobs for her supporters.
Yeah, I mean,
if we all support her, we'll all get squares and private insurance.
I didn't look into it too hard, but like hired could be as loose as like they gave them each a free T-shirt. Yeah. But like, oh, I forget where I read this, but I definitely read it recently. Yeah, and those 40 people, like, after the big T-shirt line was said, just walked out of the debate. So there was like this huge hole in the crowd where like 40 people were, because they were just like, "Oh, we did our job. We cheered like crazy when she said the line," and then they just left.
That makes me like the 40 people.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, people have shit to do.
I'm kind of surprised that like the team even like let them do that.
I mean, I've taken jobs I didn't want to do.
But do you know what that means? That means that she and her team thought so little of themselves in a way that they thought, okay, we only need them for that one line, and I'm not going to say anything else good after that, so they could just go home.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous. Okay, I also remember when Tulsi Gabbard like tore her apart. It was pretty good. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I don't care what anybody says.
I liked her too.
She's way. I mean, out of all those people that were on that fucking stage, like besides Sanders, she was the only other person that was like decent. I don't know if
she was a real person
she's a real person, and like
with real people thoughts.
I don't know tons about her, and like the only thing I've really heard from the left as a criticism of her is mostly been something about her kind of stance on certain foreign policy positions, but I don't know, like she's also always like criticizing war and like empire building and stuff like that, but this is not the Tulsi Gabbard episode, so moving on. Fell embarrassingly flat. No, Harris's real value to Biden is threefold. One is her popularity among the donor class, having raked in massive amounts of cash during her campaign from not just big tech, but Wall Street, health insurers, and pharmaceuticals, and various billionaires among them. Soon after Biden picked her, Wall Street executives gushed to CNBC about the wisdom of the decision, particularly the fact that it signaled Biden was not, as we have been endlessly told, moving significantly left. Ha! Now that's something to cackle about. Biden moving significantly left. What the fuck? Who's saying that?
I don't know if Biden believes that there's a left.
Biden doesn't know anything right now. Anything. He's just, oh, I'm sorry, man. I shouldn't say
I should
that.
have said that.
I shouldn't say. I shouldn't say. He's gonna be like in the middle of like the fucking oh, god damn it, what's it called?
The Oval Garden. Wait, no.
I'm gonna say you meant that as a joke. Yes, when he's standing in the Oval Garden, he's gonna just like start muttering about like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, man. Oh, my dad sure could drive a car. I don't know. That's gonna be the only real saving grace to him possibly winning is it's gonna be kind of funny. I think at least once in a while.
Much like the current administration is funny once in a while.
Yeah. I think in a different way, but yeah, yeah. Okay.
I don't know how different it'd be.
So Harris's value is threefold. So the first thing is that she can rack up money. She's got connects to all the good big money folks. That brings us to the second point. It's becoming increasingly clear that Biden is planning an administration that is roughly on par with, if not more conservative, than Obama's, but with a far less popular and inspiring standard bearer at the helm. Yeah, nobody likes Biden, even the people that say they like Biden. While Biden himself lacks the charisma and grassroots base to be an effective caretaker of a dysfunctional, crumbling system, it's a role that Harris, who has the genuinely rabid fan base, there's that K-Hive, and history-making attributes missing from Biden's candidacy. Yeah, this is why it was so obvious it was going to be her. Could ably step into in a way that a relative unknown like Karen Bass or someone with less charisma with no popular base like Susan Rice could not. With Biden's campaign focused on letting the public see and hear as little from their diminished candidate as possible, expect to see the lion's share of attention and propaganda devoted to boosting Harris. Yep, that's definitely true. Another perfect distraction from Biden's senility. Expect, too, to see Harris deployed to justify any reactionary measures a President Biden could not by himself. Harris may well have the Obama-like charisma to rally the party's rank and file and sell them on a conservative policy program, as the former president did. But this also carries risk. It would still be Biden's presidency, and she could end up chained to the boulder of whatever unpopular measures he may pursue. Oh, and he will. On the other hand, she would be poised to lead the party once Biden is gone from the scene, thus neutralizing any future left-wing takeover of the Democrats and keeping both the party and Washington firmly in the hands of the corporate establishment. Which is why the Democratic Party must be destroyed and replaced with something much better. Not change from within. That shit is over. The ship has sailed.
Are you
Don't
saying
try
that
it anymore.
Democrats cannot have their own Tea Party? Because the Tea Party really did change the Republican Party for
I am
bit.
saying that. I'm saying they're too good at crushing
Dissent?
left dissent.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just too good at it. I mean, we saw it twice now. Like, and
I agree.
Bernie was like extremely popular, and they still, I mean, they very swiftly like crushed him.
Stuffed it up.
Well, I mean, like,
Unlimited money gives unlimited power?
well, I mean, if he's running within the party, he has to play by their rules, and their rules are corrupt, and like they can manipulate things so easily to knock him out. We saw exactly that happen. Lastly, Harris fulfills Biden's desire to find a vice president with whom he's on the same wavelength. Put aside the superficial differences, and Biden and Harris are essentially the same politician. Both have been chronically on the wrong side of history. Both pursued cruel, right-wing goals for most of their careers in order to advance their personal ambitions. And both have a habit of misrepresenting their beliefs and records. It's fitting. Biden, after all, is one of the old-school originators of the corporate-friendly democratic politics that Harris has pursued her whole career. Call it absurd or call it paradoxical, but as the United States is engulfed in unprecedented civil unrest over brutal police repression and its people rage against historic wealth inequality and corporate domination, the Democratic Party has chosen as its avatars one of the leading architects of that system and one of its most enthusiastic foot soldiers. Both Harris and, to a lesser extent, Biden have shown a limited but encouraging propensity to gesture leftward under pressure. The current unprecedented conditions, coupled with the still small but growing power of the U.S. left, mean the next 4 years aren't necessarily doomed to be a repeat of the Obama years. Yeah, I guess I agree with that. A little sliver of hope there.
That's the potential. Trump was obviously a step in the wrong direction. Stepping back to Obama era is a step back, but maybe it leads to a more civilized place because the power of the left and Bernie has pushed the party left. But has it? Because we're choosing two people who are the definition of corporate Democrats. And anyone who believes that they're going to suddenly decide, oh yeah, all these leftist policies people were fighting for, yeah, we're going to do that now. They're not. They're just going back to what Obama did.
Yeah, I read this paragraph as saying, well, now I'm rereading it. It says limited but encouraging propensity to gesture leftward under pressure. Now, like, that's a really sad phrase because it's like they have a very, 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 very small likelihood of gesturing leftward. That's not even doing something left. It's just like making an empty gesture leftward. So this is like, and this is basically the last paragraph of the article, and I think they're just trying to end on like something even
some type of hope.
Yeah, something not completely depressing like the rest of the article has been. But I thought that was a pretty good summary of what Kamala Harris is up to. I don't know. I feel sort of spent after thinking about all that shit.
Oh, me too, man.
Any sort of parting shots about Kamala Harris or the election or the future or
no matter what
politics in
someone
America?
tells you, under the current system, you don't have to make a bad choice, and both of our choices are bad.
Oh yeah.
So don't believe the hype when people tell you should feel guilty if you don't make a choice. Just it's fine. It's fine to say, hey, I don't agree with either of these people, and or either these collectives of politicians, these Democrats or Republicans, as they're shown to us. And I don't want to throw my hat into those rings. You don't have to, and it's fine to just make that decision. You're not wasting your vote.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think all of that, I would vote shaming and whatnot. It's just, it's delusional.
There are other ways to make differences. You help small grassroots things. You donate money to like causes that you care about.
Right.
You go out and protest, but don't feel obligated to take part of something you don't agree with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think you can really convincingly make the lesser of two evils argument this time around. It's harder than ever, I think, to make that argument.
Our options are,
and I'm a bit of I think, I mean, I ultimately, to me, it doesn't matter which one of them wins really. But some part of me, maybe in a little bit of the back of my mind, is a bit of an accelerationist and would prefer almost that Trump win again, just to really, hopefully, like,
ignite,
run shit into the ground in a way that is like in everyone's face. Because with Biden, it will be run into the ground similarly, but with a smile and with everybody going back to sleep. And to me, that's worse than the alternative. I'd rather have, you know, unrest and chaos in the streets, as long as it's aimed towards changing things for the better, than people asleep while everything continues to crumble the way it's crumbling anyway. And that's what you're going to get if Biden wins, is just,
well, I mean,
a Democratic base or whatever that's just back to sleep and enjoying like Yes Queen clapbacks and, you know,
and the reboot of How I Met Your Mother.
Exactly, the reliving what they thought were great times under Obama.
I mean, right now we have some of the biggest protests ever in America about police brutality, and they seem way more organized than Occupy Wall Street, and way more just in your face. And one thing that I think Obama did so well that Trump is failing at, he, while doing absolutely nothing about the banks during Wall Street, somehow convinced a majority of people to stop protesting by putting them to sleep.
But Occupy happened like in the middle of his presidency, like almost toward the end. It was 2011.
Yeah.
And I think the protests just fizzled out because of, I mean, the police just kind of crushed the momentum. And maybe people like just had to get back to like living.
That's true.
But like, I don't know. I mean, we could do a whole episode easily on Occupy, easily. I remember I thought it was great at the time. Of course, in retrospect, I see there was like some problems with it, but like
they didn't really have demands.
People always say that, and I don't think that's true. I think there were some clear demands. It just wasn't. There were a lot of them, so people could like claim, oh well, what is it? What is it about? Is it about getting money out of politics, or is it about racial justice? And like, it's like, well, it's about all of those things. It's about all these things that are like
it's about
interlinked.
All the shit wrong.
In a way, but they're not like. And there were some people would like show up to those things with their like niche like issues or whatever. But generally, like the name itself, it was about like the predatory like system of, you know, on Wall Street.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it failed obviously, and I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but
I think part of why, I mean, I don't have any backing for this. I think part of why it failed is people were just a bit more comfortable because we did have Obama at the time, and even if he
You're
wasn't
saying
really
without
helping-
that, like maybe these protests will have more staying power.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I'm saying like Biden wins, and I think people on the actual leftists will continue the good fight no matter who gets elected. But like resistance libs are gonna go straight to sleep, like I've said several times on this.
I 100%
episode.
agree.
Before we sign off, farewell. There's just one quick thing I want to read here. It's about all these celebrities going crazy for Kamala. It's brief. So a few celebrities. I'll just read the headline. Celebrities join "We Have Kamala Harris's Back" campaign to pressure media to protect her from sexist political attacks. So this is like this preemptive defense of Kamala being attacked for being a woman and for being a racial minority. Hollywood stars are joining forces with the Time's Up movement. Oh, that's interesting. The Time's Up movement. The same organization, Time's Up, that refused to represent Tara Reid when she came to them about her accusation of being sexually assaulted by Joe Biden.
That seems out of character.
Same group. Now they're behind this. This is a poorly named campaign as well. "We Have Kamala Harris's Back" campaign. That's like the official name. So these stars include, you're going to be shocked to hear this first one. You've never seen this person with a bad political take. Alyssa Milano, Reese Witherspoon, Julianne Moore. Oh, no, not Julianne Moore. Oh, I like her, usually. Kerry Washington, Deborah Messing, boo, Amy Schumer, Rosanna Arquette, Sarah Paulson. I don't know who Sarah Paulson is.
I'm not sure who Sarah Paulson is.
I just wanted to mention this because I think it's insane that the Time's Up. It's not insane, but it just really made me mad to see that the same group that purports to care about, broadly speaking, women's issues and like sexual assault, sexual harassment, that is just it's turned out to be corrupt, like a lot of other organizations, and they're obviously just shilling for Biden and have been. They basically protected him from those accusations, and yeah, now they're back to defend Kamala, and it pisses me off.
Well, these are very rich people who it probably is
The celebrities.
Yeah, celebrities are very rich people, and it's probably in their best interest to have a president that's going to do the exact same shit as Trump, but looks better on a global stage.
Yeah. That's, God. I told you, man, this lesser evil argument is much harder to make this time around. So now that we feel like shit,
I don't feel great about anything these days.
let's recommend some stuff that might be more in line with not feeling like shit. You got something on hand?
I do have some recommendations.
Oh, more than one.
Well, yeah, of course.
Cool.
But I might only give you one today.
Okay, you can do more than one if you want.
So, my main recommendation is a board game, because there's a lot of time at home these days. Maybe with friends, family, or by yourself. You can play board games by yourself. But I've been very happy playing the board game Seven Wonders, which I think won Board Game of the Year in like 2012. Doesn't really matter. But it's a board game where you work through building a civilization, and there's different ways to win, but it's a lot of fun. I suggest playing it. Check it out.
That sounds cool. Do you own this, or do you go to the board game cafes?
I own this board game.
Cool. What's the
So the
I don't
goal is you choose like one ancient civilization, like say Egypt or the Aztecs or whatever, and you're building a civilization, and you go from like the Stone Age to present, and you try to like quickly build a civilization while other people are doing it too.
Oh, okay, so you're just like competing against everybody
You're
else?
competing, and you're trying to build the best civilization.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like that.
It's like that computer.
I was
game
gonna say the old
Civilization.
computer
It's
game.
very similar, more streamlined, but it's a lot of fun.
That
Played it
sounds
some
cool.
recently with people.
I should play more board games. I went to the board game cafe, but it was like probably like 2 or 3 years ago now. But the last time I went, it was pretty fun.
It's a lot of fun, yeah. I guess my actual recommendation is if you get the chance to play games with family or friends, do it. It's a good time. You don't always have to just like watch TV or listen to podcasts. It's actually nice to just play a game and interact with people in that way.
I agree. You should do more things like that because it's very easy to forget they even exist. So I'm glad you brought something up like that. Cool. Anything else, or are you good?
That's all for now.
All right.
That's all.
Huh? What?
I said that's all for now, and it made me think of Looney Tunes, which I think just had a birthday. Bugs Bunny just had a birthday, like in the past week or so.
Oh, happy birthday. Happy belated.
And I was about to say, that's all for now, folks.
Oh, God, I'm so glad you didn't, and now you did.
Now I did. That's too late. What's
Okay.
your recommendation? I'm sorry.
This is all good. I would like to recommend a documentary movie that I watched like several times. I guess probably a while ago, like probably like way back in like 2005, 2006, probably around then. It's from like I think 2002 it came out. It's called Cinemania, and it's a documentary. It takes place in New York City. It was done by like I don't know the directors' names, but it's like a German and an American working together on the documentary. But that doesn't really matter. But it's about these 5 cinephiles, these movie obsessed weirdos in New York City, and it just kind of follows them around in their daily lives, and like they literally just. Most of them don't have jobs and just spend all day, every day, watching films in the cinema. Particularly, they're kind of snobbish about it that way. I think I can quickly go through this. The cast here, so it's just a summary of each of these 5 people. Eric Chadbourne, a cinephile who lives on disability benefits and who vociferously prefers musicals and romantic comedies to foreign films. He's the only profiled character in the documentary who has succumbed to watching films on video, of which he seems to own thousands. The other people steadfastly refuse to watch TV under any circumstances. Roberta Hill, the other cinephile, states that she, quote, only has nightmares in video. I remember that line, too.
Wow.
Harvey Schwartz, a cinephile who has traits found among those with Asperger's syndrome, who lives on disability benefits. According to Jack, Harvey has no discerning taste in film and will watch just about anything, including The Amazing Crab Monster, whatever that is. Can quote the exact running time of every film he's ever seen from memory.
That's incredible.
I remember that part too, yeah. Owns hundreds of soundtrack LPs, but doesn't have a turntable.
I've known plenty of people to own LPs without a turntable.
Really? That's kind of funny. I mean, I guess if you're
weird.
just a collector, I guess it kind of makes sense. Bill Hyde-Tretter, a cinephile who defines his taste in film as quote-unquote effeminate, as he prefers, quote, relationship films to action films. An NYU grad student and amateur philosopher who lives on unemployment benefits. Do you see the through line here of everyone being on unemployment or disability benefits?
I do. Are you
Which
saying,
I'm saying that
What's that
it
say
gives
about movie
them
watchers?
time to watch movies all day. That's all I'm saying. I'm jealous.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
I mean, not about the disability benefits, but you know what I mean. And wait, this isn't the whole cast. Oh wait, sorry. Jack Ungstreich, I don't know. The most heavily profiled member of the quintet, Jack's justification for his abnormal behavior is to not deny what he considers to be a visionary lifestyle, that there is no correct way to live, and really has no interest in real life beyond the cinema. I remember this guy. He's probably the most interesting. He claims that he wouldn't want to make love to Rita Hayworth unless he was doing it in black and white. Living off an inheritance, another through line, just money, that no job. Anyway,
Inheritance means unemployed.
that's what I'm saying. Jack sees upwards of 5 films per day and claims to have seen over 1,000 films in 8 months at one point, and eats of.
That's crazy.
Hang on.
How does he retain anything?
And eats a voluntarily constipating diet so he won't be interrupted while watching a film and have to go to the bathroom. He purposely makes himself constipated.
Is popcorn constipating?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember what he eats.
Readily available at the theater.
I kind of remember he eats just like a lot of like garbage food that I guess would make you constipated. I don't know.
Dressing.
And then there was another person. This person was really interesting. I don't know why she's like a separate thing, but she's the 5th one. Okay, Roberta Hill. She lived most of her life in Washington, D.C., moving in 1983 to New York City, where she died on July 18th, 2009. An obsessive-compulsive woman who, according to Jack, is so far in the prison of cinephilia that to me it's just a hopeless Sisyphean lifestyle. Has kept every piece of film memorabilia she's got her hands on for what appears to be the last 5 decades, including ticket stubs, programs, flyers, a promotional bottle of water from an independent film called Water. This is all coming back to me now. And promotional plastic cups from Last Action Hero and Jurassic Park. Roberta has been banned from many theaters for her rude and uncouth behavior, which has included attacking ushers who have torn too much paper off her ticket stubs. In the film, I remember this as well. She tries to go to like MoMA to see some art film or whatever, and she's been banned from there before. So she like tries like really poorly to disguise herself and like sneak in and still gets caught. And it's kind of, I mean, I'm kind of chuckling about it, but it's also kind of sad. Anyway, that was a little bit longer than I meant to go on about this movie, but it's very interesting. I strongly recommend people check it out. You can find it pretty easily for free, I think, like on YouTube or somewhere like that, because it's not like a hugely successful documentary, but I think it had like kind of a cult status back in the early 2000s.
I've never seen it, but I know it was. I just looked it up. It's directed by Stephen Kijek.
Who's that? I don't even know who that is.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it like I should know who that is.
I just saw his name in the director slot.
It looks like it's directed by 2 people.
Oh, okay.
Angela Christlieb. She must be the German. That sounds like a German name. Okay. Cool. Well, another episode in the can.
A bit closer to the Hate Death of the Universe.
A bit closer. Play more board games. Watch Cinemania. Don't vote. Bye.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune, recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording, and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?
So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. And I've got a little political capital, and I'm going to spend some of it. As a prosecutor in law enforcement, I have a huge stick. The school district has got a carrot. On my letterhead, when you're the DA of a major city in this country, usually the job comes with a badge. And there's often an artistic rendering of said badge on your stationery. So I sent a letter out on my letterhead to every parent in the school district. We sent it out. A friend of mine actually called me and he said, Kamala, my wife got the letter. She brought all the kids into the living room, held up the letter, said, if you don't go to school, Kamala's going to put you and me in jail. Yes, for the intended effect.